Hello students, this is Mrs. Miller, and the purpose of this video is to show you how I think through the text to answer a question about the author's perspective. This question says, does the author write from an objective perspective or a subjective perspective? Support your answer with details from the text. Well, the first thing I have to do is make sure I know what the word objective means and what subjective means. Now, I remember when we were writing an objective summary, we could not include our own personal feelings or thoughts. So I'm thinking that objective has something to do with that. So I'm going to open a new tab and just type in the word objective. And I see that objective means not influenced by personal feelings or opinions and considering and representing facts. Oh, so objective is not telling personal feelings or personal opinions. In some words, some synonyms are impartial, unbiased, unprejudiced, and there are more here. So I'm going to guess that subjective would be when we include our personal feelings or opinions. Let's take a look. Based on or influenced by personal feelings, tastes, or opinions. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the text and I'm going to read through it again. And I'm going to see if the writer told only the facts, which would be an objective perspective, or if she included her own personal feelings and opinions. Let's look at this first paragraph. Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem before Thursday's preseason NFL game and pledged to continue his protest over police brutality and racism in the U.S. I'm going to ask myself, does she tell me how she feels about this? She doesn't. There are no opinion words or feeling words here. She simply reported on what happened. Let's take a look at the next paragraph. The sixth-year 49ers quarterback said he opted to kneel rather than remain seated as he did last week to show more respect for men and women who fight for the country. This is a direct quote. This is exactly what he said. There's nothing in here that tells me what the writer feels, what her personal opinion is. I can continue looking through each paragraph, and as I reread, I can see that at no time does the writer include her own personal feelings or thoughts on the topic. That means that this is written from the perspective of an objective narrator. So I'm going to come back to my question, and I'm going to write my response. Does the author write from an objective perspective or a subjective perspective? Support your answer with details from the text. Based on my think aloud, I can see that the author writes from an objective perspective. Remember, at no time did she tell us her personal opinion or her personal feelings about this topic. She simply reported on what happened. Now I'm going to go back up to the passage and find some text evidence. I'm looking to see what can I paraphrase, what can I put to show that it's really just an objective perspective. I'm going to take this information just from the first paragraph. I can talk about how in the first paragraph, the writer simply stated that Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem without sharing her personal feelings. The author writes in the first paragraph that Kaepernick took a knee during the playing of the national anthem. She doesn't share her personal feelings on the matter. So now I'm going to find a second piece of evidence that shows that she's only telling us the facts. I'm going to use the seventh paragraph. Prior to the game, Kaepernick, Reed, and Boyer had discussed ways to show respect for the military while also protesting racial issues in the country. So I'm going to fill in my second piece of evidence to show that it is an objective narrator. So the author also writes that Kaepernick spoke with others to see how he could still show respect for the military. She doesn't state what she thinks about this. So that's my second piece of evidence. Now I can say what this shows about the entire thing. So because of my evidence, this proves that the author writes from an objective perspective because she does not share her personal thoughts or opinions on the topic. She simply tells the facts. It's very important in your final sentence to think back to what the question was, what your answer was, and in this case, I even defined the meaning of the word objective in my final sentence.